Hey yo everybody, welcome back to another guide brought by your favorite tag team, Roxanne and me, Lyssa. This time we will be looking at one of the most well-known mercenaries in the Lyssa's world, Kitty. So if you want to know more about her combos, strengths and weaknesses, get comfortable and enjoy our guide. First of all, as you may already know, she belongs to the Peacekeeper faction. She is a range unit, and for her stats at its maximum, we can see she has a very balanced HP and a high attack base damage. Kitty has arguably some of the best utility in the whole game. She isn't as vulnerable when placed initially as some others of this role, and if left unchecked, will add insane damage and survivability to your mercenaries. Kitty can be a centerpiece to any lineup so long as she is protected, and even if she is eliminated, she can still bring something to the table. For her first ability, she can grant 2 force shields to 2 random allies, including herself, on enemy spawn. This ability makes Kitty very strong in any lineup. Regardless of her power, you can throw a level 1 Kitty in a max out squad and still benefit from this skill. Things to consider are that units with immunity will not receive the force shield, such as Regina or Lorraine, but will still give allies a force shield if an enemy immune unit spawns. As you will see on the next clip, even when the enemy summons back and his minions, our Regina didn't receive the shield from Kitty. Next, when he summons Lorraine, that action will still make the shields pop up. Upon Trixie spawns, the Trixie damage will trigger before Kitty's force shields are deployed, as you will see on the next clip. But let's see that again in a slow motion this time. Look very closely and don't blink, cause this is very important in order to understand the next combos. As you will see, first Trixie's spawn damage skill pops and drops the shields, then 2 more shields appears cause of her being deployed. Next, because she kills 3 of his units with her first skill, her second damage skill activates and detonates the new shields with the first explosion, giving our team a lot of attack buffs in one go. Of course, we always need to have in mind that the allies who gain the shield from Kitty are random, and that this ability will trigger only when enemy mercs enter the battlefield, along with the commander's ability too. For example, when enemies Diaz or Ethan summons units on their third ability, but not the enemy Roxy Bomb boxes, as they count as your allies. Ally Roxy boxes from your own commander will spawn 4 shields, as the boxes count as enemy units. And yes, there is never a downside to this. 4 shields keep your allies alive, and unless the enemy can follow up with a Madeline or Trixie, then it is pretty safe first merge placement, as she will guarantee herself the shield when enemy makes a move, depending on how many neutral blockers you have in play, of course. Her second ability is the one that can get crazy numbers and makes Kitty easily the best mercenary in game for boosting your squad's attack power. And at Reborn 5 level 31, this skill is at its max possible, giving your entire squad plus 204 bonus attack for each force shield that expires. Yes, you hear right. This applies to any 4 shields, meaning your ally ones, your enemy ones, and either commander's force shield. Every time any shield goes down, all of your mercenaries in play will get this attack boost. per shield that goes down. So, for example, if any splash damage, as we see before with Trixie, triggers multiple shields to go down at once, all your units gets an attack boost for each shield that drops. Since this is just a passive damage increase as the game plays out, there isn't really a lot of a strategy around it, aside from keeping Kitty alive. Her third ability activates on death. There are a few mercenaries with this mechanic, and it's definitely one of the best. It reduces the attack power of all enemy mercenaries by the display value permanently. This one will take a while to max out, sadly, since you will need to get to Reborn 6 level 31. But at Reborn 5, it still can have a great impact in-game, as you see on my screen. For reference, at its max value possible, can reduce to 0 attack most of the mercenaries at top level, taking in consideration only their base stats. This means that when Kitty goes down, providing you are playing at a similar level to your enemy, she will make most enemy units unable to attack, and at the very least, buy you some time. Okay, let's talk about combos. Contrary to popular belief, Salt is not a total necessity for 4 shields compositions. She does, however, have a nice synergy and helps to delay the game long enough for your 4 shields combos to get going. Kitty spreading 4 shields around will keep some healing going for Salt, and the first commander ability will let you intentionally leave a lane open to take advantage of Kitty's attack increase when a 4 shield drops. Next we have Roxy. Once Kitty is already placed, using Roxy's first ability to spawn boxes will trigger Kitty's first ability. Since these boxes count as enemy units, and since there are 2 of them, they will give a total of 4 shields. Bearing in mind that whatever your enemy places down the following turn will give you another 2. This can be a great way to protect the whole team. Now we have Hilda. She is one of the few who have amazing synergy with Kitty. She has a 4 shield of her own which refreshes each time she is attacked. This allows your Kitty to give shields to other allies who need it. And even if the enemy drop Hilda's by other types of damage, Kitty can still give her a shield back and keep the shield attack buff parade going on each time one goes down. Next, we have Leda and Natasha. Both of these units will get a second boost when a 4 shield drops, in attraction to the attack bonus from Kitty. Our next 4 shield mercenary is Kira and probably has the weakest synergy with Kitty, but it's still a synergy. Basically, Kira just gives a bonus attack plus 75 at top level to all allies per 4 shield that you have at the end of each turn. This doesn't stack up like crazy as Kitty's ability does, but it's free attack power just for spreading 4 shields, which is never a bad thing. And if you can get a kill with Kira, she will spawn allies who can get shields. Then we have Lola. She is, hands down, the best combo with Kitty. As a shield breaking cause Kitty to give your allies attack will also cause Lola to deal damage to enemy mercenaries. Again, this is pair shield, meaning multiple shields lost is multiple hits to enemy units. But when do we lose multiple shields? Well, do you remember the explanation at the start of the video about Trixie's ability and the shields and the explosion and all of that? Yeah, well, that was for this part specifically. And we have now Madeline and Trixie here. And well, they aren't 4 shield units exactly, they are quite the opposite. But they serve to break all shields on the battlefields when spawning in. This can be the case for many splash damage mercs, but Trixie also hit allies, so spawning Trixie or Madeline in to pop all of your own shields is a great move if Kitty is down, as you'll trigger her attack boost many times and likely win that turn. Extra fireworks if Lola is around, as her ability will trigger many times also and nuke the whole enemy team. Okay, but as we said, Kitty can work out in any comp. You don't have necessarily to fit barrier units in your team, despite the obvious synergy. As an example, another good synergy to fit her will be in a debuff comp, because of her undead skill, so while you reduce to 0 the enemy attack, you will keep increasing yours. But hey, don't get too greedy and fill all your team with debuff units like this, cause what will happen if the enemy sets a Harper or Salma on the first turn covered by an obstacle? The answer is, you will suffer. So keep in mind the balance in your comp. You can have like 3 or maybe 4 debuff units, but the others need to be utility ones or counter ones, such as Florence for healing and cleanse, Lola for reaching rear row units, Beck maybe for counter melee enemies, and other ones that you may need depending on your current league. Some examples can be Kitty, Lucretia, Salmo, Sarah, plus Alola, as they are the most common units most people have. Also, Kitty, Scarlet, Belly and Lilith, plus a Beck maybe, or a Kitty, Selma, Hannah, Scarlet, plus a Florence, or a Kitty Omega Selma for just high attack, and many other possible but logical combinations you can think of. Kitty is seriously one of the best utility mercs in game. With high attack stats to go with, she's fairly safe on the spawn if you decide to deploy her early, and the longer she's down the more she will benefit the squad. No other mercenary will ramp your squad attack power like Kitty, and with her spreading force shields, she keeps them alive pretty well too. This offers a unique squad composition, contrary to the combos listed above, you absolutely could just throw Kitty into a mostly defensive lineup of high HP. Defensive units or units that spawn allies, her shields and attack boost will take care of the rest. In our opinion, Kitty is a strong contender for one of the best viewed units in game. The only downside, and at top level this is a pretty big downside, is that she isn't a direct counter to anything at all. Since the meta at top level is basically just one-shotting each other units until you gain the upper hand, we would suggest, as we said before, mixing Kitty into a squad of counters and using her when you have an opening to keep her alive. And well, of course, Kitty also have a very aesthetic skin to go with. With all this said, let's have some matches! And that's all for now. Thank you kindly for taking the time to read and watch our guide, and please let us know what your thoughts are below. See you next time. Bye!